Hello everybody, it's November 27, 2025. I hope everybody's doing well. It is Thursday, it's Thanksgiving Day. Also, planet Saturn. Saturn went direct today, or is going direct today. That means that a lot of things that were placed on hold, a lot of confinements that you've been feeling, will now loosen. The reins of Saturn will loosen just a little bit. But Saturn is also Satan, so, when he picks up steam, you never know what's going to happen. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome back to my channel. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. And I'm recording this rather late. Actually, it was supposed to be recorded yesterday on the 26th, but it's early morning today on the 27th because I decided to take a little nap and then had to take care of my kitties and do some things around here. And welcome back to my channel. Welcome new subscribers. My name is Lorraine. I moved from 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey, a home I lived in for 30 years as original owner. And I became targeted there sometime, probably around 2009. It became very evident to me between 2011 and 12, and it became really horrific around 2015. People following me, U-turns, wearing t-shirts that say Chosen One while I'm walking at the post office, people going in and out of my car to take the SD card from my camera, my dash cam. Vandalism to my home in excess of $300,000. The list is endless, but you all have your own stories and but my channel is to demonstrate that you are not alone, you're not crazy, you're not schizophrenic. This is happening to millions of people in the United States and around the world. I mean, we have people that have chimed in here from Germany, Poland, Spain, New Zealand, Africa, Australia, the UK, let's see, Sweden, so many other, the names are escaping me now, Italy, everywhere. It's in Thailand, even though a lot of Americans are moving to Thailand. What I've been told by people who've moved there is that the quote-unquote gang stalking, the organized harassment has subsided, mostly because of language issues. When you move to Asian countries, not everybody speaks English. So when you're moving there, a lot of the local stalkers are not, they're not engaged in the new person. Although the directed energy weapons and the monitoring, the surveillance follows you wherever you go. There's satellites everywhere. We know that. So there's a little bug crossing my path here because these criminals love to infect my house with vermin and insects, and that is a thing. So you are not crazy and you're not alone. They do run in and out of your house and dump garbage and trash and dust, smart dust. They do harm your pets. Yes, most recently, the little kittens that I have here, and the reason I have kittens is because pregnant cats have been consistently dumped on my property, and I'm denied veterinary care because of the slander campaign and the setting up of me and my rescue as being dangerous and negligent when I am not. So they go into my nonprofit building and they harm the eyes of innocent little kittens, mostly the left eye. They become ulcerated, weepy. The cat's personality completely changes from being their vibrant self to being depressed. They have violated them in the most heinous ways. The way they violate targeted individuals, vibrating your private parts, they do the same thing to the cats, but worse. And I won't discuss it here because I'm not delusional, I'm not crazy. And by the way, for anybody who's not knowing anything about me, I have 2 psychology degrees. I have several certified clinical hypnotist certifications, 2 corporate human resources certifications, and I'm a Reiki Master Teacher, and I was a notary public in 2 states. I am a minister. Yes. So anyway, that is a little bit about me. Now, I'm going to discuss psychological operations. And pretty much what is happening to all targeted people, in addition to what you're feeling physically. It's very difficult to explain to other people because it is carefully orchestrated, designed methodically by psychologists and by the military to sound insane. That is the agenda. They don't want people to believe you. That's why they isolate the victim. And this is a tool of the narcissist, the malignant narcissist, the psychopaths. They isolate the victim. Even if you're not a targeted person and you're involved in a romantic relationship with a narcissist, it's very common for that narcissist husband, let's say, to cut the telephone wires, prevent you from speaking to your family, isolate you, lock the doors when they leave so that you can't leave, deny you medical care, dictate what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear. These are control freaks. Now carry this over into the Targeted Individual Program, TI, the Targeted Individual Program. It's worse than that. Because we're not talking about just one single crazy-ass husband. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of crazy-ass trained government officials, psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, the criminal mindset. So, Dr. Eric Karlstrom, who has a website, and let me just pull up the email that I received. I am on a targeted individual email list, and here comes another bug down my my screen here. So, in a recent post on November 26th, he makes reference to a post and a short video that he was referring to. And this post was on November 23rd, 2025. The author is Dr. Eric Karlstrom. It's entitled Seditious Conspiracy or Truth. In his recent video, Trump, Fire All the Deep State Bums for Sedition, John Bowne, or Bowne, argues that the congressmen and women who recently encouraged American military and intelligence professionals to disobey illegal orders from their superiors should be fired and imprisoned for seditious conspiracy. And many agree. However, if Bowne knew the first thing about the Targeted Individual Black program, which has been operating secretly in America and abroad for at least 70 years, he would realize that these congressmen and women are correct in stating, quote, "This administration is pitting our uniformed military and intelligence community professionals against American citizens." And this is marked at the 5-minute 23-second to 5-minute 28 seconds in the video entitled Seditious Conspiracy or Truth, Trump, Fire All the Deep State Bums for Sedition. I have not listened to it. I just wanted to get into reading some of this information to let you know that you are not alone and you're not crazy. No, you're not schizophrenic. Schizophrenia, by the way, back in the day, when I studied psychology back in the day when I was a teenager, and I'm in my 60s, Dr. R.D. Lang, L-A-I-N-G, postulated that schizophrenia is nothing more than a defense mechanism to being in an environment that is so intolerable that people, the victims, often split off to protect the self that's being harmed. Many, many people, children, have reported hovering over their bodies. It's almost like their soul, their spirit lifts, rises when they're being SA'd, when they're being abused, when they're experiencing something so horrific at that young age that they don't even have words for it. That they're hovering over their body, watching, viewing from above their physical body. And then after that, they go back into their physical body. This is not schizophrenia. In fact, I will say, because I have come to the realization that there's no friggin' such thing as schizophrenia. That it's all, every part of it, is a result of harassment, torture, SA, growing up in a cult-like family, having to witness horrific crimes. It is a way for a child to protect themselves. And that's why you cannot even diagnose somebody over the age of 20 some odd years old with schizophrenia. Because it's a childhood thing. It's a young thing. And it's a result of not having the words to describe what is happening to these children and teenagers. So now, let's continue. This administration, and this is a quote, this administration is pitting our uniformed military and intelligence community professionals against American citizens. Perhaps they should have pointed out that all presidential administrations dating back to the Eisenhower administration have also committed this kind of seditious conspiracy against innocent Americans, who sometimes referred to as targeted individuals, TIs, quote, non-consensual human experimentees, unquote, potential terrorist threats, and a variety of other names, unfortunately. In the wake of the obviously staged recent hubbub, PsyOp, red herring, misdirection, or limited hangout, I have not heard any news pundits even acknowledge the reality of the TI program, let alone how it could relate to the recent cautionary comments of these congresspersons. Perhaps one purpose of this PsyOp limited hangout is to elicit public outrage against military intelligence officers who question illegal orders that they receive to target, torture, harass, and eliminate innocent blacklisted American citizens. In the wake of the colossal CV and the climate change fraud PsyOps, more and more now realize that government has been weaponized against the civilian population, and indeed, that the so-called war on terrorism, quote-unquote, itself is just another massive fraud and PsyOp. Historically, the most common types of terrorism, by orders of magnitude, is government-sponsored terrorism, and certainly the TI program comprises state-sponsored domestic terrorism against citizens, and indeed, post-9/11 Bush II doctrine, the entire anti-terrorism national security apparatus, including uniformed military and intelligence community professionals, is weaponized against political dissidents and others who are secretly blacklisted via their covert inclusion on the DHF FBI terrorist screening database enemies list. This policy comprises covert murder, attempted murder, torture, and yes, treason against American citizens and the U.S. Constitution. The reality is that the Zionist, Judeo-Masonic, Satanist, occupied and controlled Anglo-American empire is a criminal enterprise of lies, psyops, torture, deleting, terrorism, and genocide directed against its own citizens, as well as citizens worldwide. What kinds of people obey orders from such a government? Now, we'll just call it synchronicity, a coincidence. Today, one of you subscribers sent me this document, and I've actually seen this document before, but I didn't save it. From PsyOp to MindWar, The Psychology of Victory by Colonel Paul E. Valley, the commander, with psychopath, Major Satanist Michael A. Aquino, PsyOp Research and Analysis Team Leader, who looks like the devil itself. Fortunately, the criminal is gone away from the planet, hopefully not hovering above. Headquarters, 7th Psychological Operations Group, United States Army Reserve, Presidio of San Francisco, California, 1980. You hear that? 1980. Now, the introduction, though, is written by Michael A. Aquino. If any of you guys go look him up, his eyebrows are pointed up like he's got some devil horns going on there. Total Satanist psychopath. Lieutenant Colonel Military Intelligence, USAR, retired November 2003. He wrote, in the later 1970s, psychological operation PsyOp doctrine in the U.S. Army had yet to emerge from the disappointment and frustration of the Vietnam War. Thus, it was in 1980, Colonel Paul Valley, commander of the 7th PsyOp Group, asked me, as his headquarters PsyOp Research and Analysis team leader, to draft a paper that would encourage some future thought within the PsyOp community. He did not want a Vietnam post-mortem, but rather some fresh and innovative ideas concerning PsyOp evolution and application. So, the psychopath decided to prepare an initial draft which Colonel Valley reviewed and annotated, which resulted in several drafts and critiques until he was completely satisfied. And that was the creation of this document. From PsyOp to MindWar, The Psychology of Victory. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back down so that we don't get all through his soliloquy here. MindWar, in its most simplified form, states that it must deliver the goods as they are judged by the targeted audiences. If ethical values of those audiences are not respected, if MindWar is used only in the service of ulterior motives and objectives, the resulting disintoxication can be socially shattering. Sanders' military review article in support of psychotronics, intelligence and operational employment of ESP, extrasensory perception, was decidedly provocative. Criticism of research in this area based on its existing frontiers of scientific law brings to mind the laughter that greeted the Italian scientist Spallanzani in 1794 when he suggested that bats navigate in the dark means of what we now call sonar. If they can see with their ears, then do they hear with their eyes? Went the joke. But I suspect that the U.S. Navy is glad someone took the idea seriously enough to pursue it. So at this time, psychotronic research was in its infancy. But the U.S. Army already possesses an operational weapon systems designed to do what the LTC Alexander would like ESP to do. Except that this weapon system uses existing communications media. It seeks to map the minds of neutral and enemy individuals and then change them in accordance with U.S. national interests. So that's what they want to do, targeted people out there. They want to change you. In its present form, it is called psychological operations. So how does a PsyOp work? Let's scroll down here to page 5 here. MindWar is the deliberate, aggressive convincing of all participants in a war that we will win that war. It is a deliberate, meaning it's premeditated. It's deliberate in that it's planned, systemic, comprehensive effort involving all levels of activity from the strategic to the tactical. It is aggressive because opinions and attitudes must be actively changed from those antagonistic to us to those supportive of us if we are to achieve victory. We will not win if we content ourselves with countering opinions and attitudes instilled by enemy governments. We must reach the people before they resolve to support their armies. And we must reach those armies before our combat troops ever see them on battlefields. So this is what they do. They go after your friends. They go after your family. They want to change their minds about you, the targeted individual. If the euphemism psychological operations resulted from, as one general officer put it in the 1917 letter, it's a great need for a synonym which would be used in peacetime that would not shock the sensitivities of a civilian democracy. Let me scroll down here. According to the present doctrine, a PsyOp is considered an accessory to the main effort of winning battles and wars. The term usually uses a force multiplier. It's certainly not considered a precondition to command decisions. The PsyOp cannot predetermine the political or psychological effectiveness of a given military action, which is the replace all of this military lingo with targeted individual program. It can only be used to point that action in the best possible colors as it's taken. So let me scroll down here. MindWar must target all participants if it's to be effective. It must not only weaken the enemy, but it must strengthen the United States. It strengthens the United States by denying enemy propaganda access to our people and by explaining and emphasizing to our people the rationale for our national interest in a specific war. Replace that with the targeted individual program, the war on the American people. And the article or the synopsis that Dr. Eric Karlstrom wrote after reading Mr. Bowne's paper. MindWar is not new. Victories have resulted from both in time of the actual combat and in time of a threatened combat. Threats. The terrorist screening database where they load all the people that might question what these psychopaths are doing, because we do not think like them. These are sick individuals. So then it goes on to talk about propaganda. So think of this as this slander campaign in your community. And it was interesting because I saw a video by Miss Heidi where she talks about the slander campaign is not just about slander and defamation. It's to set people up for future crimes. And I'll give you a quick example. I have a 501c3 public charity, Freya's Cat Rescue. I've had it since 2012, 2013, but I've been rescuing cats for actually since I'm like 6 years old. So when I moved here to rural Kentucky, Jackson County, I purchased a farm, lots of acreage, because I figured, you know, I want my cats to have the best possible life so that they can live indoors and live outside. Wander around if they want to, come back in if they want to, sleep outside if they want to. Well, the local government around here, the local people, slandered me around to the local veterinarians. Okay, the local veterinarians, to not take me as a client. I experienced this as soon as I moved here when I was searching for veterinarians. And every time I would find one, they wouldn't get back to me, they wouldn't return my calls, they wouldn't email me, and I was just too busy at the time, and I did not need a vet when I first moved here. All of my cats that I relocated from New Jersey had already had a clean bill of health, already had exams, and were in perfect health, etc. I wasn't in a position to adopt any more cats. I had no intention of adopting any more animals. I had already brought 30 with me. People kept dumping cats on my property. Literally, there was a kitten in my garage that showed up. That was Popcorn. And then they would start dumping pregnant cats on my property. And then when I called the local veterinarian, Dr. Rebecca Caleb Wilson, in Anvil, the Anvil Veterinary Clinic, at first I thought that they were just accidentally hanging up on me. You know how that happens. You'll be on a call, they'll place you on hold, and you get accidentally disconnected. Well, that happened a couple of times, and then I realized that it was purposeful. And that's when I started recording. So they would not give me an appointment. And she actually finally got on the phone, after being hung up on so many times, and told me that she doesn't want to do business with me because I'm not friends with her friends, and she just doesn't get me. Now, I'm going to tell you, guys, I never met this woman before. She's likely in her 30s. I'm in my 60s. How would I be friends with any of her friends? And she's not supposed to get me. She'll never get me. In fact, if she's fortunate enough, she'll get to live as long as I have. But this is not a professional woman. This is not a professional veterinarian. She was told a slanderous lie about me. Now we're going to fast forward. As a result of that, and remember, I live in a rural area. It's not like New Jersey where if one vet doesn't want to take me, there are 25 others in line. And I had multiple veterinarians in New Jersey to go to for various issues. It's not like that here. I have to travel a distance to find another veterinarian if I can. So as a result of these pregnant cats being dumped on my property, guess what? They had kittens. They had kittens. Some of them are living outside. Most of them are living inside. And the kittens that are living inside, my nonprofit building has been broken into. I shouldn't say broken into. Illegally entered multiple times. And the one major one was on May Day, the High Witch holiday, where they perform sacrifices here in Jackson County, Kentucky. And they do. I could prove it. They harmed the eyes of all the kittens, resulting in 3 of them dying. More recently, the kittens that did not die, that are a little bit older now, 2 more of those kittens have had their eyes damaged this past week. It is disgusting. This is an agenda. They did it to one of my cats, Peaches, in New Jersey. They left her outside in the rain on Christmas Day, and they gouged out her eyes. So going back to when I filed the incident report with the Jackson County Sheriff's Department, which I recorded on their recorded line. And when I asked them for a copy of the printed transcript, they refused to give it to me. They falsified the incident report and labeled the incident animal nuisance. No mention of the break-in, no mention of the torture of the animals, no mention of the death of the cats, the kittens. Animal nuisance, as if my animals, that I'm the nuisance. The same goes for all the dead animals that were left on my property November 26th. Oh, happy anniversary. Happy anniversary, psychological operation here in Jackson County, Kentucky. They left a skinned dead animal, huge animal, in my mailbox and splattered all over my driveway. When I say huge, the liver, the heart, everything, all over my driveway. This is a huge animal. It could have been a cow. It could have been a deer. And when I FOIA requested that report, it's still under investigation. I don't have an incident report. So this is how the whole community falsifies, fakes, fraudulently labels, spreads slander, legally falsifies information. As if I'm the nuisance. My cats are the nuisance. When they're dumping pregnant cats here and then denying a veterinary appointment. It creates psychologically what is called a double bind. It's a catch-22. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And this is why all targeted people are set up for these psychological operations by psychopaths like Michael Aquino, the U.S. Army there. And this is a historic thing. Oh, and I just wanted to mention also that this cute little picture here of the little bird stealing the pizza. This is a new eBay artist, Pizza Thief, by Sara Jessup. So you're not alone. And this is why you need to document everything. Because they can say anything they want to say. They can write up anything that they want to write up. But when you record them, when you photograph them in the act of doing something, you completely negate their little crimes. The unfortunate thing is, they're all in on it. From the county lawyers, the police department, the sheriff's department, your neighbors, local governments, higher up. And according to this this article, this write-up, the administration is pitting our uniformed military and intelligence community professionals against American citizens. Congressmen and women who recently encouraged the American military and intelligence professionals to disobey illegal orders from their superiors should be fired and imprisoned for seditious conspiracy. So I'm going to end on that note. I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate. I am grateful for you guys for helping the channel grow, sharing the videos, commenting. And I do have a testimony to read. It's in the process of being changed because a lot of stuff needs to be edited out. And I haven't had time to do it, and she's in the process of doing it. So, in the not-too-distant future, we'll have another testimony. And I've got a couple of other videos that I want to record. I want to record a video, and I will be putting one out there, about the targeting community and the people who run those conference calls. And you need to beware. So I'm going to sign off for now. Hope everybody's doing well.